Jenny, welcome to the Jewelry Business Academy podcast. It's so good to have you here today.
Thank you.
Ah, I
I'm excited to be here.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so excited for our convo. I've been looking forward to this as well. And this is a really special episode because you've been a dear client of mine for a couple of months now. Do you remember how long it's been?
I think it was the beginning or middle of February, something like that. So,
So it's
however
been a
many months
couple of
that is.
months,
Yeah, it
like
has
5 or 6
been.
months, which is
Yeah,
amazing.
it's gone by
And
fast.
it's gone by so fast.
Hmm.
And so it's really exciting to bring you on to share a little bit of your journey in building and scaling your jewelry business, the lessons that you've learned. And so I'm really excited for us to dive into all of that. But before we do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners and just share a little bit about who you are and kind of how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, so my name's Jenny, and I have a jewelry business called Moss Rock Metals. So I started with my jewelry business about 6 years ago now already. And we were living in Victoria, BC, and um, I saw a YouTube video actually of someone making a sterling silver ring, and I just knew that I had to do that. So I went and took a jewelry class, and I just really started making things for fun. And as my business grew, then I was able to quit my part-time job and work towards my jewelry business full time. And then a couple of years ago, we moved back to Oregon. That's where I'm from. And it was kind of a bumpier transition than I thought. Um, a lot of things changed in my business, and I just was feeling really stressed out. I didn't really know where next steps to take, but I did know a couple people that were in the JBA, and so I had really only listened to a couple podcasts before I joined.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so that's kind of a summary of kind of how I joined the JBA. Yeah,
I love that. I honestly love when we have these full circle moments, which we seem to be having a lot of recently, where somebody was a listener for a while. You weren't even a listener for that long. And
no,
now you're on the podcast a couple of months later.
yeah,
So it's so special. It's so fun. It's such a full circle moment.
yeah.
And I love hearing about that journey of like kind of, you know, deciding I want to learn how to make these rings and then actually going and doing the course and learning how to make them and then making them and starting to sell. So talk to me because it's not like from what I'm hearing, you didn't wake up one day and you're like, I'm gonna build a jewelry business. It was more like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I want to learn how to make these rings with my hands. I want to learn these skills. I want to bring these pieces to life. Where was the turning point when it went from making to selling?
Well, it was really just I mean, I from the beginning I kind of knew that I would sell them. I just didn't know how. So
Mm.
I knew about Etsy. So I set up an Etsy shop, and yeah, I just started listing them. I didn't really think too much about it. I think probably the first thing that I listed online was just a little pair of silver earrings. And of course, friends and family are always the first people to purchase from you. And then I remember I had listed a sea glass ring because in Victoria, um, I collected sea glass from the shore there, and I started making sea glass jewelry. And all of a sudden, a stranger bought from me online. So then I kind of knew, like, yeah, I can probably do this. So I just kept, making pieces one at a time, and one of a kind pieces. And that's kind of what I have been doing for the first 3 years or so. And sales kept increasing. I was actually working at Canadian Blood Services as a medical lab assistant, and my back was just giving me really bad problems. So I quit and I actually took a bookkeeping course because I thought, well, I'll do bookkeeping, but that's helped with my business. But really, I just ended up working on growing my jewelry business. And um, I honestly didn't really have the mindset of that I want to have a business. I just wanted to make jewelry, but um, I see the importance in that now. Like I want to work on growing my business. I think we live in a pretty rural area and it's what I do. So I yeah, I just knew I needed to join the JBA for a little bit of extra help on how to get where I knew I wanted to go. So
Mm.
yeah.
I love that so much. So let's talk about mindsets a little bit because you know this firsthand. Running a jewelry business is so much more than just making beautiful jewelry. Like there's so
Yeah.
many hats you have to wear. There's so much resilience and grit you have to build over time. What would you say have been some of the biggest mindset shifts that you've experienced and you've had to make to really run your business as a business?
Yeah, well, I think probably one of the biggest things is that like probably a year ago I was feeling like every day I have to be sitting at my bench making things or I'm not working.
Mhm.
Um, and I think since joining the JBA, like I have everything shifted. I've been working on collections for wholesale for stores. Um, I probably would say the time I've sat at my jewelry bench has probably been I've probably spent about a third of the time at my jewelry bench as what I was, and much more
Mm.
time at my computer and working on the business. Um, because I'm realizing that if I want to grow my business, I can't just sit at my bench and make jewelry all day, every day. So,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that is such a huge realization. And I know we're going to have some jewelers or designers listening to this panicking, being like, oh no, like the last thing I want to do to grow my business is to spend less time working at the bench and more time behind my computer. But the reality is, if a goal of yours or for anyone listening is to grow a sustainable jewelry business that supports them, the reality is you're going to go through a season where maybe you're in the new early stages, you're building awareness of getting people to know about your brand, you're starting to drive more consistent sales, and it's not an overnight thing of like suddenly you have hundreds of orders every day. So there is a season where you need to step away from spending so much time making and designing, and we have to spend, I'm going to say, 80% of our time running the business, doing marketing, driving visibility, doing collabs, doing wholesale outreach, like you shared, so that we can get those orders in. And those are all tasks that down the line you can have a team member take over. If sitting at the bench is like what deeply fulfills you, those are all things that you can come back to if when your business grows to that place. But I think that's so powerful that you shared that, Jenny, that realization, like, hey, I love designing, I love sitting at my bench, but in this season, the focus is growing the business and driving awareness and driving sales. So I'm going to do those revenue driving tasks, which, let's be honest, are pretty vulnerable. What's your experience been of like leaning into those vulnerable tasks? How have you navigated those?
um, well, I mean, your 90-day blueprint. Just making sure, yeah, when I don't know what to do each day, just going back to that, like before I would come down to the studio and I would know I probably needed to make something, but I wasn't sure what. So some days I would make something, some days I wouldn't because I was overwhelmed. But now I might get off track a little bit, but if I'm not sure what to work on, then I always go back to the program and just how I even need to reach out to wholesale stores or just remembering, oh, yeah, this day I should try to work on collaborations or do an Instagram live, or it's just, yeah, just something to fall back on when you feel like you don't know what you should be doing.
I
Yeah,
loved hearing that so much. That's wonderful. Because, yeah, honestly, I mean, that was my experience when I started my jewelry business a gazillion years ago, was
yeah,
that I was like, I had the energy in the to show up in the business, but I didn't know, like, on a day-to-day basis exactly what I should be doing. And so I'd
yeah,
spend so much time thinking and planning and list writing. And it's so hard sometimes when you don't actually know what are those things I need to be doing, those revenue driving tasks. And even like wholesale, it's one thing to know, okay, I need to reach out to stores, but how do we do that? What do we
yeah,
send? Do we reach out via Instagram or email or pop in? Like, and then if they say yes, how do we handle that process? And so I love that you're kind of just, following that blueprint and showing up each day and doing what the next step is, because that's how we build momentum in our business. That's how we shift things, by doing those vulnerable but revenue driving tasks consistently over time. So I love hearing that. And obviously, um, you know, you know that as a business owner, you wear a ton of different hats. There's a lot going on.
yeah.
How do you manage your time and energy so that you can keep showing up in your business without burning out?
Well, I think the biggest thing I think when I remember, like probably a couple weeks ago, I was feeling kind of burnt out and I didn't know what I should be doing. Something that helps me is actually just going to the blueprint, seeing what I should be doing each day, but then making a list of tasks in my calendar in the morning or like for the week of what I need to do, so that when I'm tired during the day and I don't know what to do next, I remember, well, I just need to go back to my calendar and see what I have penciled in, and maybe that thing is too hard for the day, so I switch it to a different day, or um, yeah, so just simple things like that. Yeah,
Yeah, flexibility as business owners is so important, because
yeah,
we want to be disciplined, but we also have to have flexibility, because we all have days where we wake up and it's like, I have them where I'm like, oh, this is definitely not a recording a solo sode podcast day, because my brain can't think, like I can't do it. Or, oh my gosh, I definitely, like, this is not an Instagram live day for whatever reason. And there's a fine line between like listening to ourselves and like tuning into what makes sense each day, but then also sometimes feeling like I don't really want to do this, but I'm just gonna push through today.
yeah,
How do you navigate that balance? Because it is a fine line. Like, and it's something I talk to our clients about as well all the time. It's like we don't want people burning out. We want you tuning in, listening to your bodies, and shifting things around your calendar when you're able to. But also, sometimes there's tasks that are never going to feel good no matter what when you're getting started, because they new.
yeah.
So we just have to be like, okay, oh, I don't want to do this. I'd rather do anything else but this. But today, I'm just going to get it done. Like, how have you navigated that?
Well, I think like after we moved, honestly, like I feel like I was under more stress than I knew. Like, I mean, neither of us had jobs. My husband or I didn't have jobs, so I was under a lot of stress just trying to, that's part of the reason I was working at the bench so much. Just I got to make things, I have to sell things. Um, but I think now, wait, did you say the question? You you just said balancing. What was the question again?
the, it's totally fine. You're on the right track. It's that fine line of balancing, like showing up for tasks sometimes on days where you're not 100% all in on the task, but then also
Oh,
listening to your body some days when it's
yeah.
like, no, today is definitely not an outreach day, and shifting that. How do you navigate that balance
I
and
guess
listen to yourself?
yeah, I guess I can kind of feel if it's something that I just don't want to do because I'm scared of it, as opposed to something that's putting my nervous system into overdrive, because I
Mhm.
can feel the adrenaline start.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I think one thing in the JBA, it's just like it's really helpful just having the supportive community and the mindset. So I think working on mindset is really important. Like we talk about just doing things, just small steps
Mm.
that are just like maybe a little bit scary, so that um, I can build into the bigger, scarier things.
Hmm.
So I guess that's kind of part of how I balance things, just doing things a little bit at a time. Like if it feels like it's setting off my nervous system too much, then I know that I need to step back a little
Mm.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that that makes so much sense. And yeah, our nervous system, like learning to navigate regulating our nervous system as business owners is such a big part of business. And it's interesting. I was talking to another seven-figure entrepreneur about this the other day because we have the perfect strategy to go and like implement in your business. But if your nervous system just is a train wreck
Yeah.
as you're implementing this, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big you're building that business if you are literally like not able to cope with the stress of a bigger business. Because the reality is, as you increase in sales, as you grow your jewelry business, we always think, oh, like like when I get X amount of sales, I won't have these problems. But the reality is, we actually just exchanging our current problems for better, bigger problems. So I always
Hmm.
I always tell people like you want to aim for bigger problems, but you want to get there at the stage where you are able to handle it. Like you need to slowly be building that resilience and that grit and that learning how to regulate your nervous system. Have you had any experiences around this, Jenny? I'm just thinking like, you've been in business 5 or 6 years now. Think back to when you were brand new in business and a customer complained about something or something broke or,
Oh,
do you remember how you responded to that? Because I remember when I first got a customer who broke something, like I was almost in tears the first time that happened.
yeah.
And sometimes it can shut us down. Like we end up in bed, we end up feeling like questioning, should we even be doing this? Like, that imposter syndrome kind of sets in. Do you have any experiences of that? And have you seen growth in how you're able to navigate challenges like that in business?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my customers are so awesome that I don't have that many problems as far as that goes. I had one really, really bad um someone that was trying to, I think she was trying to scam me. I sent a it was a situation where they purchased a ring on Etsy, and um I sent it to them, and it's a long story. But yeah, it was really stressful, and I think looking back to that time, like I I have had other situations in work and life that kind of um, I've learned to be calm and think ahead. Just how big of a problem is this really? Like, it's
Mm,
not me that's, causing this issue. I'm not the one that is in the wrong, and it's not going to shut down my business. It's going to be gone in another couple weeks or so. So yeah, I mean, I'm getting better. I'm learning, listening to you, that nothing is an emergency in a jewelry business. So, but yeah, honestly, um, I know there's some people that just haven't probably just don't contact me when they make a purchase and something's wrong. But like yeah, I don't have
you
too
haven't
many
had that too
problems that
much.
way. Yeah,
Well,
not
that
really
is
at all.
awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome to hear. And then also just hearing how, obviously in life we all have challenges and it sounds
Hmm.
like you're navigating them in the best way possible, which is awesome. So for
Yeah.
someone listening to this who is maybe part-time in their jewelry business and they wanting to go into their business full time, what would you say is like one piece of real advice that you'd share with them about what it really takes to make it?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess the one piece of advice would be like that you can't be afraid to be seen, which is has always kind of, I don't know if I've been afraid to be seen, but yeah, I mean, I guess so. I've never really wanted to be in the spotlight. I would have never been on a podcast before. Um,
Uh,
so I think, yeah, you just need to be willing to be seen and willing to get to have people tell you no and be okay with that. And yeah, so just I would say be willing to be seen, even if it's uncomfortable. Yeah,
that is such a great piece of advice. Being seen is something that, like, I mean, so many of us struggle with. I struggled with it for years, and people don't really like it seems easy for me now, and it is easy for me
yeah,
now, but for many years it really wasn't. And so I have so much compassion for designers who have, like, their walls go up when they hear, like, oh, you need to be get comfortable being seen, because they're like, well, I just want to put my art out there, I just want to like sell this, and I don't want to be seen, I don't want to like have people's eyes on me. And I totally get it, because it's so vulnerable and it's uncomfortable, and it does put you in a position where people can judge or criticize and that. But the likelihood is, like, that's not going to happen. You have to be
yeah.
very big to get criticism. And it is also so empowering. Have you found, like, as you've kind of embraced slowly taking up more space and being more seen, that it's built your confidence in other areas of life as well, not just in your business?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the business kind of goes along with my life, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, just having more confidence, just talking to people if I'm out and about, and yeah, just doing little things in my business that are might be uncomfortable. It definitely does transfer over into life as well. Um, and makes you a little bit more confident. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I love hearing that, Jenny. So, obviously you've been, I think we mentioned earlier, you've been in the Jewelry Business Academy for, I think, 5 or 6 months now.
mhm.
Um, do you remember, before you joined us in the academy, how you were feeling, what challenges you were facing in your business when you were like, you know what, I think I need to like get support here? Do you remember?
Yeah, yeah. I think I was just feeling really, really overwhelmed and like working at my bench for long periods of time. Like my body wasn't happy, my back was having problems, and I knew I needed to keep working to bring in money, but I didn't know exactly what to do. And I would make big collections and they would sell fairly well, but I would also get so worked up about it because you work so hard on them for a month or two, though of one of a kind pieces. You work so hard on them for a month or two, and then it's just kind of a it's they might they probably will sell fairly well, but I was just so worked up about that, and I knew I needed to kind of have a I'll never stop making one of a kind pieces. um, but I also needed that no knew that I needed to have a shift to where I had some pieces that I have in my shop that um, I make them. They're still one of a kind, but they're the same pieces, just something to give me a little bit more of, I don't know if you say a break, but yeah, anyway, so I knew that I needed to, something needed to change. I was just kind of becoming a frazzled mess.
Yeah.
um, and so then I had met both Anna and Caitlin in person before, and I knew that they were part of the group. And so um, at part of the joining a new group can be scary because you don't know what all of the people are going to be like. But
Mhm.
yeah, I just feel so much better, and everyone's been so welcoming, and um, I feel less. I mean, there's always stress in a business, but I feel more level-headed about it. Like I have a clear direction, kind of right now where I'm going with my
Mm.
business. So
Oh,
yeah.
I love that so much. And that's awesome that you had already met Anna and Caitlin in person. Yeah, because Anna's in BC and Caitlin's in on Victoria Island, I think, as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Oh,
that's where lived on Vancouver Island before we moved. So yeah.
I love that. So do you remember what it was that made you decide to sign up for the academy?
Um, well, I just knew I needed help.
Yeah.
And I think I probably, I don't know.
You were ready
I
for
don't know.
help.
I was just ready for help, and I knew that, I mean, I had watched a few of your podcasts, and I had gone to your website, and um, probably part of it was like you seemed like you had like a fairly like level-headed, soft personality, not too like in your face or anything like that. So I think probably part of it was just the I knew that you could help because I had asked questions to other people like how's it going, and
Mm,
so yeah, I think just a combination of word of mouth from people that I knew, and then just seeing you online and seeing how you had helped other business owners as well.
mm.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that so much, Jenny. So, do you like, I'm always curious to know this. Was there something that almost made you not sign up? And you can be totally honest.
Oh, well, I guess because we had zero money, that
Yeah.
would be the only thing that made me not sign up. And honestly, like, so when I had my um I guess what call, I don't remember what the initial call, just the info call or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I told my husband, I said, you could just come down and maybe like sit in the room so you know what it's all about too. And he's like, oh, but do I need to? Like, so he didn't. And I was at the computer, and I think we got to the part where like it was the options for paying. And like I knew I needed to do it. I knew it would help me, but I was like, oh, I don't know if we can. And then he just said, just go for it. And I just started
Oh,
crying. So,
wow.
yeah,
That's so special that he's so supportive of you.
now I'm crying.
You're gonna make me cry. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get emotional. What's coming up for you, Jenny?
Oh, part of it is that I just get like, I'm just get me super nervous talking. And yeah,
You're doing
so
amazing. You're
yeah.
doing amazing. And I think it's so special that your husband is so supportive of you and believes in you and your business and like wanted you to have that support because it's kind of sad. Like I love so many aspects of my job and my business, but one of the things that I've learned over the years when I've spoken to a lot of business owners and stuff is there there are some husbands that are so supportive of their partners, but there's also some that are really threatened by their partners going out there and being more visible and building a bigger business. And
Yeah.
it's really sad to see that not everyone is super supportive of their partners. So I love that
Yeah.
for you. I love hearing that. That's so special. And so how do you feel now? How are you feeling? You're a couple of months in.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
what's your
feeling, yeah.
experience been of being in the academy, in the community, coming to calls, going through the training?
Yeah, I think probably one of the biggest things, like the most helpful things, even when I'm feeling like I'm stuck or is just being on the calls. Sometimes I feel like maybe I don't want to be on a call because I don't feel good, or but every time I go, you do feel, I feel like at the end like there's, I don't know, it's inspiring to be on the calls. Um, yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, and then just having a clear kind of step-by-step direction of where I should be going. Yeah.
Mm,
So I feel like I have a plan. I might not be going as fast as I thought I would be going in the beginning, but I'm working slowly towards it, and I'm getting there. And yeah, it makes me feel like I actually am growing my business how I should be. Yeah.
mm. I love hearing that. And so looking back on the last few months, what would you say has been one of the biggest lessons that you've learned since joining the academy?
Um, well, there's a lot, but I, for me, I guess because I've always been like in school, I was always kind of the quiet person and didn't really talk too much. I didn't like naturally make a lot of friends. Um, yeah, I think for me, it's just working on being seen and not caring as much what people think, because
Mm,
this is like what I need to do. And it doesn't matter if people don't like my jewelry, like it's just not everyone should like it. Um, yeah, so I think just not being afraid to be seen
mm.
is one of the biggest things. Yeah.
That is such a beautiful lesson. I love that so much. So, what would you say are some of the wins, big or small, that you've celebrated since being in the JBA?
Hmm. My mind's gonna go blank now.
No worries. I'm putting you in the hot seat.
Yeah. Well, I've kind of shifted. I'm not. So when I started making jewelry, I mentioned that it was all kind of one of a kind pieces from sea glass that I found on the beaches when we lived in Victoria.
Mhm.
And um, I still really love that, but it took a little while to learn that maybe I needed a little more sustainable business model, for me anyway. So I think a big win is just kind of working towards creating collections that can um, be wholesale collections in stores that are a little bit less maybe labor intensive, but are still one of a kind pieces because I make them. Um, so I think that's a big win, is just like a shift in my mindset of how my business is is being run. Um,
Mhm.
and I remember there was a time in the past where someone asked me like, well, why don't you just make all the same pieces? And I said, well, then I might as well just go get a job somewhere else because that wouldn't be any fun. So my mindset has really changed that way, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's
that's one big
huge.
win. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing, Jenny. And so, for anyone listening who's maybe where you were 6 months ago, would you recommend the JBA for them based on your experience so far?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would say even if you feel like, funds are tight, it's 100% worth it. Um, Even if you go at a little bit slower pace than you want to, like it makes a huge difference having that support um, behind you and feeling like you're not alone in what you're trying to do. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
I love that so much. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Jenny. This has been so much fun. And how are you feeling? This is your first ever podcast.
yeah, I'm feeling good.
You're feeling
Yeah, I'm
good.
feeling good. I'm feeling good. It'll take me a while to go, relax after we're done, but it's just another little step in confidence building. So,
100%. It's another step in confidence building. And I feel like we're definitely going to bring you back on in a couple of months because I definitely want to hear the progress and milestones and where you're at. And down the line, maybe you'll even have your own podcast. We'll see.
maybe I've had
We
a
will
few thoughts
see.
coming into my brain about when we could do this, but just not yet.
I know. I'm so excited for us to dive into that when you're ready because, yeah, it's just one of the best things you can do for business and confidence and networking. And it's so much fun. But this has been so much fun, Jenny. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners that we haven't touched on before we wrap this up? Any lessons or advice or something
I mean,
that you find really helpful to remember?
not that I can think of. I mean, I would just say, like, if you feel like you're stuck in your business and you're not sure what to do, or even if like signing up for the JBA or like any business coaching is the right thing to do, like it definitely is. It's definitely worth the investment. And I would say, like, I don't even know if I told you this, but I think, I mean, I've, I've, since the time that I've been in the JBA, like, I've more than paid for it from last year's sales. So, yeah, and I haven't moved at a super fast pace or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth it. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. I love hearing that so much, Jenny. And this has been so fun. Thank you so much for joining
Yeah.
me. And I know we're going to have lots of listeners who are going to want to follow along on your journey of building your jewelry business, and they're going to want to support you. So, where can our listeners find you and how can they support you?
Well, I'm usually hanging out on Instagram, and my Instagram handle is Moss Rock Metals with an S on the end. Yeah.
Amazing. We will link that in the show notes and we'll link your website as well so they can go follow along and check out your jewelry. Do you want to describe your jewelry for anyone who's looking for gifts right now? Because you're wearing a
Oh,
couple of your pieces.
yeah, yeah, I am. I just launched some super giftable pieces, and so on the coast here in Oregon, I find a lot of sand dollars. So I have a couple little sand dollar pendants, and I found this, not this, but I found it's made from the sand dollar that I found on the coast, and then I have my sand dollar dangles on too, and there's a couple other little giftable pieces from the Oregon coast as well. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. They're so, so beautiful. Thank you so much, Jenny. This has been so much fun and I can't wait to bring you back on in a few months.
Thank you, Robin.